The Blind Watchmaker argument was created by William Paley at the beginning of his book, Natural Theology, or Evidences of the Existence and Attributes of the Deity, say that 5 times fast, and is a teleological argument for the existence of God. Teleology is another word for purpose, so this argument is saying that if we see design in the universe, that points towards a designer of the universe who had a purpose in creating the universe in that specific way to fulfill a specific function. The watchmaker analogy is commonly used by theists to show that if we see design in a watch in the way that its parts work together for the purpose of telling time, and conclude that there was a designer of the watch, then by looking at the world and seeing the way that the world is designed specifically for the function of allowing life to be possible, we should also conclude that there was an intelligent designer of our universe, which is God. In his book, Paley compares a watch to a stone to bring out the differences that we know are between them and demonstrate that we intuitively know that one was created by a designer, while the other one we know was created just by natural blind processes. Paley writes, "When we come to inspect a watch, we perceive what we could not discover in a stone, that several parts are framed and put together for a purpose, that they are so formed and adjusted as to produce motion, and that motion so regulated as to point out the hour of the day, that if the different parts had been differently shaped from size from what they are, or placed in any other order than that in which they are placed, either no motion at all would have been carried on in the machine, or none which would have answered the use that is now served by it. The inference, we think, is inevitable, that the watch must have had a maker who formed it for the purpose which we find it actually to answer, who comprehended its construction and designed its use." Paley is saying that unlike a stone, if we were to find a watch on the ground in the forest, we would intuitively know that the watch was created by an intelligent designer because of the way that its parts are designed to work together to fulfill a specific purpose, which is telling time. Paley goes on to explain the implications of this analogy by saying, "For every indication of contrivance, every manifestation of design which existed in the watch exists in the works of nature, of being greater and more, and that in a degree which exceeds all computation. I mean that the contrivances of nature surpass the contrivances of art in the complexity, subtlety, and curiosity of the mechanism, and still more, if possible, do they go beyond them in number and variety. Yet, in a multiple of cases, are not less evidently contrivances, not less evidently accommodated to their end, or suited to their office, than are the most perfect products of human ingenuity." Paley is saying that we can see systems in biology that give the appearance of having been designed to fulfill a specific purpose, and we can also show that these systems cannot be adequately accounted for by the forces of natural selection if they are irreducibly complex. A system is irreducibly complex if it has to have all the parts of the system appear fully functional with the other parts of the system, but do not have any function apart from the system as a whole. This means that if we take away one piece of the system, then the entire system will not function sufficiently towards its purpose. Therefore, there is no Darwinian way to explain how these different pieces of the system survive through the process of natural selection until they get assembled into a system that is fully functional. Even Charles Darwin knew that intelligent design and irreducible complexity would threaten his theory of evolution, and said, "If it could be demonstrated that any complex organ existed which could not possibly have been formed by numerous successive slight changes, my theory would absolutely break down." A great example of a system that fits this criteria and therefore breaks down Darwin's theory of evolution is the bacterial flagellum. The bacterial flagellum is a rotating engine that powers a whip-like tail that allows the bacterium to move through liquid to track down its food supplies. It has a rotor, a stator, a drive shaft, bushings, bearings, a U-joint, and a single transduction circuit which allows the bacterium to detect changes in the sugar levels in the cell to follow the sugar to its food supplies. If even one part of this system was taken apart, then the entire system as a whole wouldn't be able to function to track down this food supplies, and therefore the cell would die. Intelligent design proponent Michael Behe has described the implications of this discovery by saying, "Design is positively apprehended in the purposeful arrangement of parts. Looked at this way, irreducible complex systems such as flagella serve both as negative arguments against gradualistic explanations like Darwin's and as positive arguments for design. The negative argument is that such interactive systems resist explanation by the tiny steps that a Darwinian path would be expected to take. The positive argument is that their parts appear arranged to serve a purpose, which is exactly how we detect design. Even atheists admit that the world has the appearance of having been designed. And Behe uses the analogy of a watch and a watchmaker to infer that just like the best explanation for the design that we see in a watch is a watchmaker, the best explanation for the design that we see in the world is a creator of the world or an intelligent designer. Please like and subscribe for more videos that share God's love through apologetics, and remember, Jesus loves you.